Alright, this one is going to be a fun video. In this video, I want to show you guys my lens collection, which ones do I use the most, which ones are my favorite, and yeah, just a little video that I wanted to make for 2025, sharing my gear. Starting off with the camera I'm using, it's the Canon 80D. This is a DSLR, it's a crop sensor camera, so you have 1.6x crop, just like any other DSLR with a crop sensor. And it's 6 years old, but still very solid in 2025. I still use this for all my video production, photography, all the freelance work that I do. I am planning to upgrade really soon, but I will make a video, just going over this camera and how I have used it for the last 6 years. I want to start off this video with a kit lens. This is the 18-55 STM IS kit lens. So this has image stabilization. And if you buy a Canon DSLR, you will get this lens for free. This is a very useful lens. A lot of people kind of underestimate the capabilities of a kit lens, but if you're just starting out, this gives you a lot of versatility, 18-55, but it's not a very fast lens. And this is a crop sensor lens, so it does not work on full frame cameras. The only thing is that it's not great at low light, but if you're just learning photography or videography, this will get the job done. But most people upgrade from the kit lens to this lens. This is the Canon 50mm 1.8 STM. It's known as the Nifty 50 or the Plastic Fantastic because it is completely made out of plastic. It's like $100 and still very useful. It's a full frame prime lens, very fast. And for $100, the quality is really good. This can be used for video to get those, B-rolls with that blur background. This is also a really good portrait lens. And if you are using it on a crop sensor camera, this acts like a 80mm lens because of the crop. It's not the best at autofocusing. The autofocusing is kind of meh. It will hunt sometimes, but for $100, this is a really good 50mm lens. I think every photographer, videographer, filmmaker has gone through this lens or has had some version of this 50mm lens. Now, if you're on Sony or Panasonic or any other camera system, there's again 50mm 1.8s available there as well. Canon also has 50mm 1.4s and 1.2s, which are way more expensive, but everyone should use that lens. It's great, it does a lot. It's not really that useful for doing talking head videos like this on crop sensor cameras, but on full frame you can definitely use it. Now, the next lens, actually, I want to talk about my favorite lens of all time. And as I've told before, this is the greatest APS-C lens ever made. The Sigma 18-35 f1.8 art. This is just really good. It came out in 2013 and it was way ahead of its time because it is f1.8 across the zoom range from 18-35 and it's internally zoomed, so there is no barrel extension. It's also got really nice glass, so it gives you really contrasty, sharp images and kills a lot of prime lenses when you buy this lens. So you don't need a 24mm prime or a 35mm prime because you have this. And on a crop sensor camera, it's gonna be like a 28-55 lens. This is not full frame, so that's the biggest drawback. If it was, I think that would have been great, but Sigma would have some issues selling their other lenses if this was working on full frame cameras. It has really nice autofocus, does not have image stabilization, but it's built really well, completely out of metal. It's heavy, but I think you can use this on a gimbal since it has internal zoom, so your balance is not messed up every time you zoom in and out. It's got a really nice smooth zoom ring, really nice focus ring as well. It's tight, so you can get those precise focus pulls, and overall, I really like this lens. It is slightly on the expensive side at around $800-900 when I bought it, but you can still adapt this lens to RF cameras. You can adapt this lens to Sony E-mount cameras using the Sigma MC11 adapter. Very useful. I hope Sigma makes some version of this lens for full frame cameras and for newer generation mirrorless cameras. So that's that. Next up are my Tamrons. These are again a part of my kit. This is the 10-24 f3.5 to 4.5 VC lens. So this is my lens for doing vlogging, behind the scenes, for shooting real estate content. If I need a super ultra wide kind of look, I go with this. Since it's 10mm on a crop sensor camera, this acts like a 16mm lens. The aperture is f3.5, and I know there's a 16 to 35 lens with f2.8 aperture, but again, for the price, this is really good. It's made out of plastic but feels solid. And yeah, overall I really like this lens. It's got good picture quality for shooting, architecture, landscape. If you're doing real estate content, can be used for video since it has stabilization, and best for vlogging. If you are on a Canon DSLR or a cheap camera and you just want a lens for vlogging, you can find this used, for like $200, $250. Really good lens. Next lens is my Tamron 85mm f1.8. This is a prime lens, works with full frame cameras. It is built like a tank, completely out of metal, really heavy lens, and it's got a big lens element. F1.8, really sharp lens. It's got decently fast focusing in my opinion. Good for portraits, good for getting those, long range shots on a crop sensor camera. This is like 135mm, so almost telephoto. And yeah, it's got vibration correction or VC, so this is also stabilized. Good for video. If you are using this on a gimbal, it's good, but on a crop sensor camera, that's really zoomed in, so you have to be quite far away. But if you don't want to buy a telephoto lens on a crop sensor camera and you want that reach with that fast aperture, this is a good lens. Now, coming back to my latest purchase, this is again one of the best full frame lenses of all time. This is what started everything. This is the Canon 24-70 USM L f2.8, this version 1. And the fun fact about this lens is that it zooms reverse. So it extends at 24mm and retracts at 70mm, which is something unique I found. Again, made out of metal. You've got the red ring, so it's a Canon L series lens. And there's not much to say about this. This is f2.8 across the zoom range, works with full frame cameras, and on a crop sensor camera, this gives you, again, almost telephoto kind of look. I wouldn't use this on a gimbal since it's very heavy, and if you zoom in and out, it kind of messes up the balance. But for photography, videography, portraits, doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're doing talking head videos like this, if you want to get B-rolls, low light capability is good, focusing is really fast and accurate. Overall, just a really nice lens. I found this on a really good, deal, like $400 or something. There is a USM 2 version, which is lighter and smaller. You can get that if you wanted to, but overall, this is the lens that I use the most alongside the Sigma 18-35. I also use the wide angle, but the other three are kind of occasional lenses. I don't need the 85mm all the time, and only when I'm doing like architecture, landscapes, or some freelance gig where I need the wide angle, I use this. But these two are my favorite lenses. These are the most used lenses. But when I do upgrade to full frame, I have to get rid of this because this is a crop sensor lens. So is this one. So I will have to find alternatives. Maybe a 16-35, adapted on RF should get the job done. But these are my lenses for 2025. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions or queries, do let me know in the comments down below. You guys tell me what lenses you are using in your kit bag, which are your favorite lenses from my collection, and if you have any suggestions or feedback, do let me know. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to this new channel, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.